corner, into the area, it goes, and it is the opening goal. And Ryan Gold flicks it into the corner. Big danger, there's the opener. It hasn't taken long. Ryan Gold on target.
Toronto FC.
It all started back in April with 14 teams, and now here we are 5 months later and down to the final two. Vanni Sartini and his Vancouver Whitecaps are the favorites, having a more consistent MLS season and chasing a third title in a row. But Toronto hope to prove the odds makers wrong and get back to their winning ways in the national tournament. Tonight in Vancouver, we crown the TELUS Canadian champion, and it's all right here on OneSoccer. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside our OneSoccer studio. Yes, it is time to crown a TELUS Canadian champion, the national champion, hand out the Voyageurs Cup. Andy Petrillo alongside Gareth Wheeler, Jordan Wilson. Let's remind you of how this bracket played out for these two teams to get to the final. For Vancouver, they entered the tournament at the quarterfinal stage, earning that bye past the preliminary round because they are the reigning Canadian champions. Bit of a shaky start against Cavalry, but they did shut out Pacific. As for Toronto FC, they did have to start in the preliminary round. They faced two semi-pro teams, barely beat Forge FC, but either way, they got their ticket to the final. So Vancouver, Toronto, here we go. And we know that since the start of this tournament back in April, Vanni Sartini, head coach of Vancouver, has been open and honest, saying, we want the three-peat. That's exactly what he wants, 3 titles in a row. What would be the significance, Jordo, of that accomplishment?
That's dynasty territory for me. You went three-peat, that's not a fluke. That means you've built something. That means for a guy like Vanni Sartini, who took this opportunity and started playing players, and each time they play in the Can Champ to go out and win the whole thing. For me, Wheels, that just means that you've put onus on this tournament, that you care about it, but you also have players that stand the test of time.
He's the Babe Ruth of Canada soccer, calling his shots. I like it. Ballsy, if you will. Its legacy, it shows that this tournament matters to all the participating clubs, to the professional infrastructure in this country. There's a lot of new stakeholders in the game today, and I'm talking about Canada soccer. And I think the only unfortunate aspect is that we're only expecting about 14,000, 15,000 people here tonight. You need to advertise. You need to market. You need to promote. You need to get the best bang for your buck and not let politics or whatever else is driving you to make your decisions in order to sway you one way or another. This is a big deal to people in Canada soccer. It's called the Voyageurs Cup for a reason, because it's the trophy for the fans. And I think that everyone should keep that in mind moving forward.
Well, and I know a lot of the Vancouver Whitecaps fans would like to see their team join history here, as you had mentioned, Jordo, because only Toronto FC has been able to do the three-peat. In fact, the first go-around for them, it was a four-peat, 2009 to 2012, and then 2016 to 2018. The coach from 2016-2018 was Greg Vanni, who, by the way, is the only head coach to have won 3 national titles in a row with his team. So that's another elite company that Vanni Sartini wants to join, because right now it's only Greg Vanni who is there all by himself. Here's a tale of the two teams right now when we look at their MLS record. And the difference here is, yeah, okay, Vancouver has 2 more wins, just 2 more wins, but they've been able to hang on more in games. It's the 3 draws, 17 losses for TFC. You see the 10-point difference, and another big number there, the goal differential, +9 for Vancouver, -17 for Toronto. We've been asking this question the last week here, Gareth, on our OneSoccer Today show as well. What would a Voyageurs Cup mean to TFC fans? Would it give them a chance to feel good about things for the first time in a long time?
I was trying to think about that, those times where they felt good about themselves. March 9th, when they won back-to-back games this season, Insigne with back-to-back game winners. Hasn't scored in a game where Toronto FC have won an MLS play since that time. Maybe the first game that Bernadeschi and Insigne played against Charlotte at home, that was back in 2002. you're right. It's been few and far between those moments for a club with all kinds of big moments in their history that they can actually go on and celebrate. I think this game is so big for Toronto FC tonight. I think it can salvage their season. Because for me, it's table stakes making the playoffs for a club like TFC year in, year out. And we don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. But if you can come away, no matter what happens in league play, with the trophy and the CONCACAF Champions Cup next season, I think that John Herdman can say, you know what, we made progress this year, and evidence of it, it's winning trophies that matter, and that's what we do here at this club.
TFC beat 2 League One sides, scraped past, in my opinion, a CPL team. Now you get a chance at a final. Yeah, this is the time to vindicate yourself. I won't say that they've gone above and beyond in this tournament and played outstanding football. It's been a bit of luck to get here. But as a fan or people that are watching that support this team, you want a championship at the end of the day. If you can get something, you can lift that Voyageurs Cup. It is something that does salvage a season for sure. Last
time Toronto FC won a quote-unquote normal Canadian championship title, 2018, right? Vancouver going for that three-peat as we take a look at their starting 11, and they have some firepower in their lineup. I mean, right up top, you have Brian White leading the team with 14 goals. Ryan Gauld, Fafa Picault, they are sitting in second with 9 goals apiece. Atakubi is going to be playing on that right side. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but first, let's hear from Vanni Sartini, who caught up with our Oliver Platt.
Vanni, an opportunity to win a third consecutive Canadian championship tonight. Do you sense you have a group ready for the occasion?
Yes, I think we're ready. I think we know the importance of the game. Luckily, we recovered a lot of players that were like a little bit on the edge for injury reasons. So I think we're ready to go. It's going to be really hard. Toronto's a very good team, but we're up for the challenge.
A really big night for young Isaac Boehmer. Always a lot of pressure on a goalkeeper in a match like this. What have you said to him?
Well, just to be him, it's. I'm really proud of Isaac, of his growth as a player, of his growth as a man. I think he's ready to do his part in a big stage like today. He fully deserves it. He doesn't play because he's Canadian. He plays because at the beginning of the season we said this is your competition, and if you're going to go to the final, you're going to play it. And so, full credit to him that he always worked very well, and he will be ready tonight.
Specifically when it comes to Toronto FC, what will you need to do well tonight to get the result you're looking for?
I think 2 things. The first thing, I think it's Toronto is a very aggressive team, so the way to get away from them is probably moving the ball a lot and moving the players without the ball a lot, so to create space and having bigger space when we have the ball. And when we don't have the ball, I think we need to make to get our press right, because I think that's the key. The less time the ball arrives on the wings to probably Bernardeschi, Ricci, or in between the line to Insigne and Osorio, the more chance that we have to win. So those 2 are the big things. So easier said than done, but that's what we need to do.
Thank you, Vanni. All the best tonight.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I'm thrown off guard. He was wearing a suit. We are not used to seeing that here. Maybe he'll change before the game. Let's talk Brian White.
Yeah, I mean, you complete me. You know,
Oh,
not you specifically. It's Brian White for Vancouver Whitecaps. He was knocked out of the Canadian Championship game, wasn't he? Missed a few games for the Whitecaps. Has come back and scored in back-to-back games. He scored 9 goals in his last. Picault is great. They have all these pieces, but White, without him and his standout play, they're missing something. He's the missing link. Or you complete me, whatever you want. You do complete me, Jordan.
I love that, Wheels. But I love this player because he's a fox in the box, has that stature, loves a final, can score a goal. He is going to be a big part of this success today.
All right, well, joke's on you, Wheels, because I'm the one controlling this panel. So you know what, Jordan?
Oh, you took that to heart.
Just you, not him. Talk about Ryan Gauld.
The technician. Look, there isn't someone on the pitch that is more MVP quality than this man. When he gets the ball at his feet, the way he finds space, the way that he sets up his team, he is playing in a system that suits him. He's playing for a club that loves him, and he steps up every single time, Wheels.
You're better than Renee Zellweger.
Oh, thank you. Way to make it up.
Oh, look at him.
Gauld, 23 goals, 48 assists in his last 57 games in all comps. The guy just produces. I like what Sartini said about CanCon and Isaac Boehmer's playing today because he's good enough to play, not just because he's Canadian. Same goes for Sam Atakubi. The interesting thing about Atakubi tonight, he's playing down the right-hand side. He's only played 14 games, 553 minutes this season. He hasn't played down the right since May 4th in Austin. Remember how we saw Ali Ahmed play so good down the right for Canada?
Yeah.
And Adekubi generally plays down the left-hand side. It's flipped here. This may be matchup related. If Larea is playing down the left-hand side, a couple national team members going up against one another should be intriguing.
Yeah, just speaking with Vanni Sartini yesterday, I think playing Adekubi on the right wants him to cut in a little bit, but it's also about Fafa being on that side and him cutting in. So he wants players to be a bit inside and overload and go forward that way. But he also said he had to do some convincing to play Adekubi on the right, because everyone knows him on that left when he plays for Canada, when he plays for Whitecaps, how dangerous he is with crossing the ball.
Yeah. You complete me. I'm pretty sure it's Austin Powers. You had me at hello.
That's why your face was like that the whole time?
Oh, geez, I have to correct them on everything. That's Austin Powers, I think. Let's get to Toronto FC starting 11 here. DeAndre Curtis getting the start. Insigne and Osorio, those are two names that are back in, dealing with injury. A little bit more concern there about Osorio, but he seems ready to go. You had just mentioned Larea as well, playing a little further up the pitch as well. Let's hear what John Herdman has to say about this game as he too caught up with Oliver Platt.
John, you took this job when this club was at a low ebb. What would it represent to be able to bring the Voyagers Cup back to Toronto tonight?
No, it's a big moment for the lads. Seeing them tonight in the meeting, just, this is an important opportunity for them. Some of these players have waited 4 years. Some came to the club to win championships. So a trophy tonight's more about them telling themselves they can win again. And I think that's something this group of men have got to be able to do. I think it'll help us in the playoff push, and it'll help restore, as I say, that feeling again at the club that these fans have been crying out for. So it's a big night for us. We're going to enjoy it, but at the same time, we know we need to win.
It's a difficult period for both clubs in terms of the schedule and fixture congestion. Physically, how is the group, and Osorio and Insigne turning them around in particular?
Yeah, it's been a bit wild, but I mean, this is MLS and this is the CAN Champs. I'm not going to make any excuses, because Vancouver in the exact same boat. They rotated some lads this weekend, so did we. Unfortunately, we lost Henry Wingo in training yesterday, and Derek Etienne at the weekend. So we'll be okay. We'll be okay. The lads are ready to go. I know mentally, Osorio is just itching to play this one, and Bernadeschi and Insigne, as I've said, they came to this club to win silverware. They've got nothing to show for it yet, and tonight is one of them opportunities that won't come back for a while.
Yeah, Oso has some hardware, but Insigne does not since joining Toronto FC. What do you think is expected of him here tonight?
He needs to pull off something. July 23rd, 2022 is when he had his debut for Toronto FC. And I asked fans, and just even my own opinion, how many feel-good stories do you have about Lorenzo Insigne? This is over 2 years now. This is a chance, an opportunity tonight to absolve yourself and to get away from this madness. Pulling beards, being injured, having debacles with fans. This is a time to lift something, to work hard, to lock in for a game wheels. And just for the story's sake, I hope that he does it.
Yeah, this is a chance for him to step up. The question is, will he be able to? Let's see how much of an issue this calf problem is, because it seems to be an issue for quite some time. The last time he played 90 minutes in MLS was July 3rd. In all competitions, he's played 90 minutes just 7 times in 27 games. And over the course of those 27 games, he scored 7 goals in all competitions as well. I addressed this a little bit earlier. There's been only twice where he scored in a winning effort. So he hasn't been part of winning teams. You give up a lot in terms of the running, the defensive wherewithal. So he needs to do something special when it comes to the attack tonight. It's simple as that. If he doesn't produce and he doesn't perform, more criticism is going to come his way.
And you would want a player like that playing the full 90. You just never know. It is a cup final. You don't know if it's going to go to penalties, and you want somebody like that to be on the pitch to be able to take them. How about Jonathan Osorio? This is another player we were a little, questioning maybe his availability because of a hamstring, but he appears good to go. Mr.
Canadian Championship. He's going to make his 32nd appearance in the Canadian Championship, which will go level with Russell Tybert. I mentioned about Insigne. For me, I think that despite how talented he is, he's replaceable in the team. The captain, Jonathan Osorio, simply isn't. He's missed 12 games in MLS this season for TFC without Jonathan Osorio playing. 2 wins, no draws, 10 losses. They just don't win when he's in the team. He just brings the effort. He brings the leadership. Herdman's leaned on him heavily, and he's a massive role to play here tonight. He's always showed up in the Canadian Championship, and he's going to be asked to do a lot of heavy lifting again here tonight.
Wheels, you say Mr. Can Champ, but Mr. TFC, true and true, bread and butter. And a guy, he just makes them tick. So when people are wondering why he got the captain's armband in the beginning of the season, this is why, because I think he unites the squad and he gets them going. He wasn't going to miss out on tonight, no chance.
No, and as you mentioned here, 32nd appearance he'll be making in the Canadian Championship. That does tie Russell Teibert, who, by the way, Teibert retired in March of this year after 16 seasons with Vancouver Whitecaps, 3-time Can Champ winner with the Whitecaps. Jonathan Osorio right now being able to tie him here tonight, and also has seen a lot of things with TFC in the Canadian Championship, including 2016, one of the years Toronto and Vancouver played each other in the final. Toronto desperate for an away goal to win it all. And Will Johnson delivered in the 95th minute, putting his body on the line, breaking his leg on this play here, gentlemen, with this collision. None of that here tonight, though, please. That was a hard one.
When there's a will, there's a way.
You complete me.
I completely got that wrong.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada, because this journey belongs to everyone.
Life's better with extra space. Space for family. Space for memories. Space for you. Try 4 weeks free. Sentinel Storage, proud partner of Canada Soccer.
Hey, buddy, need some help?
Me? Oh no, I got my own system.
Let us do the heavy lifting with Walmart grocery delivery.
I never thought of carrying it like that.
Thank you, Canada, for making dreams come true. We're with you all the way.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat, carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing.
I do this for my town, my time, my time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Gatorade.
The Whitecaps have met TFC in 6 previous Canadian Championship finals, the most recent in 2022. Brian White opened the score in the 19th minute before Lucas McNaughton hit back with a second-half equalizer. This one went to penalties, and Jonathan Osorio was the only player to miss from the spot that night. He saw his effort come back off Cody Cropper's post that allowed Vancouver's Tristan Blackman to convert the home side's decisive 5th penalty. Vancouver winning the Can Champ for the first time in 2022 since 2015. Let's welcome in now Oliver Platt, who's on location inside BC Place. And you know, Ollie, out of the 8 titles that Toronto FC have, 6 have come by way of beating Vancouver. But when it also comes to MLS regular season play, I mean, these are 2 sides that maybe face each other, you know, once, perhaps twice a year. So is there a rivalry here?
Not really right now, I don't think. A lot of that stems from the 2 managers, right? Certainly when we've looked at rivalries that do exist in this country. Obviously, TFC Montreal being a big one, but even TFC Forge, it felt like there was more in that than there is between these two teams in terms of that kind of personal heat. You know, John Herdman was asked about Vanni Sartini, and the build-up to this game was full of praise for him. Obviously, they have a more direct relationship because Herdman's son Jay came through the Whitecaps Academy as well. I do wonder if you're looking for a little bit of heat and edge potentially in this game. TFC have talked about a team meeting they had in the build-up to this game with the leadership group. Jonathan Osorio, I think, spoke in that meeting. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall because I think TFC will know, and if I know anything about Osorio, anything about John Herdman, they'll know that a lot of people have written them off tonight and expect the Whitecaps to win this game and maybe win it handily. And that, I think, will bring a bit of edge to this TFC group, particularly if they can have success on the night.
Well, already Jonathan Osorio throughout the week was giving interviews, and he's like, let's remember, we have the most titles at 8. So you're right, he already kind of has that chip on his shoulder. When it comes to Vancouver, though, one of their players, Ali Ahmed, is getting his first ever Canadian championship start in the final here. What are you expecting from him?
Yeah, it's a big night, I think, for a really talented young player. Obviously missed last year's final with that horrible injury he sustained in this competition. So I'm just really excited to see him play on the back of those national team performances where he's really caught the eye on a stage like this. I think he's a special player. You know, his one-on-one ability, his intelligence and just feel for the game. What he has to add is that final product, and what better place to do it than here tonight in a final. But everyone you talk to in Vancouver and elsewhere about Ali Ahmed's, it could be his last final as well, because they don't think he'll be here very long. They think he'll be one of the next Canadian players heading over the Atlantic to Europe.
Well, he's also looked good with the national team. Ollie, appreciate you taking the time here. Oliver Platt inside BC Place doing interviews, and we'll check in with him post-game as well. Well, the final day of the regular season in the Canadian Premier League is on October 19th, also known as the Outcome, presented by Tony Bet. All of the teams will be in action. All of them will be kicking off at 4 p.m. ET. We will be on location. We will be in studio. Who will, I don't know, will it come down to the final day of locking up top spot, top 2? Who's going to get that 5th and final playoff spot? Still so much to be decided in the CPL. Well, Vanni Sartini has given us a lot to be entertained by in the Canadian Championship final. So
this one's better. This one's better. Right there.
Yeah, the barrel roll was special. The top off was another level. Look at this guy. He's just getting the fans going. That's why I was shocked when I saw him in a suit. He's got to bring the T-shirt and jeans back.
For sport played with our feet. Funny how lending a hand takes us further together.
I wanna run back to you. All I wanna do is run back to you and make my dreams come true. The only thing I ever do is run right back to you.
When the stakes are high, only the TELUS 5G network delivers.
Life's better with extra space. Space for family. Space for memories. Space for you. Try 4 weeks free. Sentinel Storage, proud partner of Canada Soccer.
Fraser Ed smashed it into the top of the net. And Noah Jensen with a missile. Sanchez lines up the shot. Preston Burgess unmarked on the rebound.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
The first ever Canadian Championship final was played in 2008. Toronto FC versus Vancouver. Can you guys name players in this starting 11?
Jimmy Brennan.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Maurice Adu.
Mo Adu.
It's Marco Velez. Amado Guevara.
Rohan.
Carl Robinson, former Whitecaps manager.
All right, here's Vancouver.
This is a tough one.
Not in MLS yet either, by the way. It's 2008.
Martin Nash. Jeff Clark is right by his side. Jay Nolly, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Eddie Sabrango, I'm not sure.
Final? Do you remember the final?
Yeah, no, I do not.
1-0.
You remember?
Penalty.
Who scored?
Martin Nash.
Oh, go on, Nashy.
There you go. You Martin Nash.
Go on.
36 minutes, scored the penalty.
Nice.
Here we go again. Toronto FC, Vancouver Whitecaps in the TELUS Canadian Championship final for 2024. Keys to the game.
But keys to the game, good start for Toronto FC, but they need to be able to finish. Largely, it's been a real positive about Toronto FC's season. They start games really well. They're on the front foot, putting lots of pressure, really good on the ball. It's just when it comes to a plan B or their legs in the second half, plan B doesn't exist. Their legs go on them. They've scored 22 goals in second halves of games and conceded 40 on the season. It's even worse. They're 7-19 away from home in the second half. For a team that is -10 in terms of XG compared to the Whitecaps who are +6.5, like, it's a recipe for disaster if they go into the second half and things are level or they're down a goal. Need to be up at halftime.
Toronto FC, in my opinion, have to make it a bit ugly today. You got to press together, press in moments, but pick your moments as well. This is going to be a long game, and you have to really choose when you go together. I think for Vancouver Whitecaps, if they score first, yeah, they're putting this to bed. I don't see TFC coming back.
Yeah, Vancouver very strong defensively as well, being able to shut the door, that's for sure. So here we go. 5 months later, after it all got started, we're ready to crown a champion and hand out the Voyageurs Cup here tonight inside BC Place. Vancouver going for the three-peat. Toronto FC looking for a 9th national title. Adam Jenkins and the man we just saw in one of those photos, just a little bit more gray, same baby face, just a little bit more gray. Jimmy Brennan will have the call for you right here on OneSoccer as you are watching Matchday Live. There we go.
There we go.
Now we can recognize him.
You complete me. You just had the heart.
Yeah.
The TELUS Canadian Championship on OneSoccer is brought to you by Toyota.
Toyota's electrified vehicles are for everyone. Every chauffeur, snack connoisseur, every scenery soaker, practical joker, every road tripper, toe dipper, every 9-to-5er, every long driver. Starting over 20 years ago with the Prius, we now have the largest lineup of electrified vehicles in Canada because this journey belongs to everyone.
The TELUS Canadian Championship on OneSoccer is brought to you by CIBC.
CanadaSoccerStore.com is the official home for the widest range of Canada Soccer licensed product, match jerseys, and fanwear.
Hey, buddy, need some help?
Me? Oh no, I got my own system.
Let us do the heavy lifting with Walmart grocery delivery.
I never thought of carrying it like that.
Thank you, Canada, for making dreams come true. We're with you all the way.
The TELUS Canadian Championship on OneSoccer is brought to you by Allstate.
On the north side of False Creek, the home of the three-time Canadian champions, and the side looking for a historic three-peat. This is BC Place Stadium, the site of tonight's 2024 TELUS Canadian Championship Final. The Vancouver Whitecaps, they play host to Toronto FC, who are maybe, depending on which supporter you ask, playing for their season tonight beyond the beautiful trophy named after the great supporters of this sport in our nation. A spot in continental competition awaits the winner on the evening. 90 minutes or penalties. The drama is always just around the corner in these final matches, and for John Herdman, his first taste of the club game and a trophy being on the line. He has some reliable faces, some bona fide superstars in his starting 11, and yet Toronto FC are rightfully the underdogs away from home as they compete for the Voyageurs Cup. From 14 teams to the final 2, the Vancouver Whitecaps have only fallen once in the TELUS Canadian Championship this season. A bit of a scare from Cavalry, but otherwise some good tests along the way to once again hosting this final. A 16th ever meeting between Toronto and Vancouver in the Canadian Championship, and lately it is Vanni Sartini's men who have had the better of the Reds. 4-0-2 in their last games against Toronto, including a 2022 championship final to kickstart this run of dominance over our national competition as they look for that aforementioned three-peat, something that has not been accomplished since the tournament expanded with the inclusion of Canadian Premier League clubs. They'll look to write another chapter in the history of this tournament tonight. Starting 11s and team news are just around the corner, but first, O Canada will be sung loud and proud before kickoff of the TELUS Canadian Championship Final.
Now at this time, we ask you to please rise if you're able, remove your hats, and join the very talented Marie Huey for the singing of our national anthem, O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for
A beautiful rendition of O Canada, and now time to get down to business. The TELUS Canadian Championship Final live on OneSoccer with kickoff just minutes away. Dr. Marie-Soleil Baudouin is tonight's match referee, no stranger to a big moment, a veteran of 2 Women's World Cups and last